How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Fantasy Baseball Dynasty podcast. I'm your host, Keith Mulder, with a fellow La Costa Canyon, fellow Journo out there. We're here with T Breeze, Travis Breeze. Firstly, how are we doing today? I know you're coming from the East Coast today.
Yeah, just barely sneaking into that East Coast. If you drive about hour and a half west, you will enter Central Time. But yes, Louisville, Kentucky, on the edge of the East Coast. Sometimes has its benefits, sometimes it sucks. And yeah, I know that is, I think, one of our segments at the end here. But yeah, East Coast, not as good as Central Time. I think Central Time is pretty goated.
I know you're in Louisville right now, right?
That is correct. Have been
Uh,
since 2022.
is that Reds country technically, or am I mistaking that?
Yeah, it is, especially because we got the Louisville Bats right downtown. When Ellie De La Cruz was here, I totally should have been out there going to see Ellie. There was a few chances when I could have. I remember there was one game, I think it was like spring 2025, when I went to a game and Reese Hines hit a dinger, and Reese Hines was in my minors. And I loved Reese Hines for a little bit. I recently let him go, even though
Mm.
he was just on my minors, just kicking it. I was like, this guy sucks, a big one. And so I just cut him.
That's tough. That's tough. I mean, that's something I've yet to do. I really should have done that. I think I was busy that night when Lucas Giolito was pitching at Lake Elsinore. But one of these days, I'll have to get to a Storm game if I have like a Pods minor leaguer or something like that.
Yeah, I think the fact that there's no baseball team in Nashville and there's no baseball team in Indianapolis means that if you're talking baseball, yeah, I would say it's mostly Reds country in Louisville.
Gotcha. 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 All right. Well, hey, appreciate you making it on the pod. And your name's Travis Breeze, but your fancy team name is T Breeze Belly. Something that I still don't understand. There's the first Rangers of the world. Like, where did you come up with that team name?
So when I was logging into Fantrax 2.5 years ago, making an account, and I couldn't just make my team name T Breeze because I thought that would be too basic. I was trying to throw something fun in there. And I just decided to throw Belly on the end. My favorite baseball player is Manny Machado, but I think maybe the funniest baseball player is Cody Bellinger. Just because there's that meme of like, why does it always look like Cody Bellinger just hit a vape in the dugout? Yeah, like I just love Belly's aura, and I love calling him Belly. So I just threw Belly on there. I told Noah when I was with him at Coachella, I was like, gotta give me that, for the team name. But he's like, no, I like him. So that's just kind of where it came from.
Gotcha. Okay. No Cody Bellinger jersey in the works potentially.
No, I mean, when now that he's on the Yankees instead of the Dodgers, I think I like him more. I wanted to say for your team name, Keith, I always pronounced it as the baseball bads. I did not pronounce it as the bods because I thought it was like bad news bears. And then I think it wasn't until I listened to Nick on your pod, like at the start of the season when called it the bods, I was like, oh my God, I guess I've been calling it the wrong thing. But then when I think of the Padres, like the pods and then the Bahdcast, then it definitely started to make sense.
There you go. Yeah, it's I know there's a artist out there. I think she pronounces it Bad Baby, but
Uh-huh.
it's BHA instead of BAH, which bot is just like an inside joke from way back in the day with my former roommate Dan Franz, current photojournalist at Fox 40 out there in Sacramento.
Oh, wow.
And basically it's a joke on like Canadian slang for like just saying
Hmm.
bud. But instead of saying,
Oh,
"Oh, what up, bud?" you say, "Oh, what up, bod?" And so it's just like, "You're my bud, you're my bod." I don't know. It's just kind of how it.
okay. Well, I get it now.
Yeah, yeah. So for those folks out there wondering what bod means, that is part of it. But anyway, we're on the podcast today. We're talking with Travis, and let me share you old screen today. We were talking about a bunch of different things, but first, let's get into the most important. We got a trade debrief. So, our first segment is talking about some of Travis's big trades, which have been a source of discussion by myself and the rest of the league. So, the segment's called Breeze's Blockbusters. We have them right here. Five trades, I guess. I know you would ask me off pod to say my first one I liked, one I didn't like, but I'll start with you. I'll ask you which one do you feel like is your crowning achievement?
Well, I think if you look at this, few on here that you would probably say are misses. And I think you would say there's one on here that probably the Mike Burrows for Xavier Edwards. You'd say that's probably the best one. But that's also one that I don't really count because there wasn't a lot of risk there. When Tommy said he wanted Mike Burrows, I'm like, that's a guy who I picked up. And yeah, I know there was a lot of interest in Mike Burrows, but I was like, you're offering to give me like a pretty solid middle infielder who I think is a pretty established guy for someone who I picked up. And that's just kind of how I rationalized it in my head. And the X Man has been giving it to him this year. Loved when he was hitting over 400 for like the first couple weeks. Um, I mean, the one with Joey, the very first one I did, and that kind of was kind of the waterfall that led to these other ones. Because this first one with Joey, that was a I'm gonna compete now trade to
Right.
get rid of Job and to get Isak, um, and to get rid of Aiden Miller, who's now pretty high up there on the top 100 because Isak was on the Rays, and this will be good when we get to talking about the radio and TV announcers we like. Listening to the Rays TV announcers calling Isak Paredes home run. Oh my God, that was goat times. So when I did that trade with Joey, that was like I'm gonna win, I'm gonna win, and then I started to suck, and then I started to try to trade people away to get younger guys. And when you look at the one with Al, the Jordan trade, that one last year I was fine with because he wasn't playing. He didn't do anything last year, and that's why I dipped him. And I also think the main thing I learned from that trade is that someone being 28 years old is not old. I think I came from the world of dynasty football where you're 28
Mm.
years old, you're towards the limelight of your career. And the more I think about it, baseball, Jordan can be up there hitting dingers till he's 34 at least. And so I'm thinking about this more, and I think that's kind of how my brain is starting to turn. But I liked the trade at the time because Soderstrom, he was in his first year. I remember vividly, he was averaging 2.7 at the time I did the trade. He was looking super dank. And then Lazaro Montez, I think, was leading the minors in homers most of last year. But I think definitely something I'm learning as I'm doing a lot of these trades. And I think you guys are reminding me is that a guy, one in the hand is worth more than two in the bush. You got to count that major league production more so than any minor league production. But I also do want to stand up for myself a little. I feel like fantasy football, you get you get a first round pick every year. And and I feel like you really want to actually build your team for the future, you have to swing on some prospects. And so I know I'm going to miss on some of these prospects, but I feel like I'm hoping to get, 3 out of 5 prospects are good. And so that's kind of my thought is I feel like you have to try to get some of the prospects. What are your thoughts on that argument, Keith?
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. And one thing I wanted to, I was going to joke coming into the pod today was just kind of like a bowing down based on the Robbie Snelling news. Now that he's hurt, he's got his UCL strained. So I'm like, all right, maybe Travis has maybe he has a crystal ball. He knows something that we don't. Because yeah,
A guy getting hurt is like that's like an oasis of that's like an oasis feeling like, oh, thank God the guy I traded away got hurt. It's like it's beautiful while he's hurt. Like it's just so I will enjoy it for the time being.
yeah, no, that was I mean kind of similar feeling for us like when we I can't remember which trade we made, but I remember that like oh that guy got hurt. So I mean I'm sure same thing you feel with Jose Barrios. Like he hasn't been a guy since you traded him. I mean at the time it was like oof like he's been pretty low starter. I mean I know after we dropped him in 2024 that you picked him up and he went off for like a 20 piece every single game.
Yeah, he was dank for a little while.
Yeah, but
Um, Looking at what we got here on Breeze's Blockbusters, I mean, when you trade away Jordan and Austin Riley, I really have lost kind of my tent pole hitters, if you will,
Hmm.
kind of lost my pillars of my offense. And so you look at a guy like Ben Rice, we're hoping he can fill that role. We're hoping Ben Rice can be a cornerstone of T. Breeze Belly's offense for years to come.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, even I think looking back at the Al trade, like you asked me like what's one trade I like, what's one I don't. Again, yeah, going back to what you said, the X-Men, Xavier Edwards, he's a dog. I love that trade. But the rest, the top row, I think they were fine. I don't think you lost a ton. Obviously, Joey laments Joe being hurt. And I think Isaac Paredes is probably the most, productive of those guys. I mean, Rafael is like a good defender, but not like a great hitter. Miller, we'll see. Norby, do you still have Norby on your team?
Yeah, and when you brought it up, I think when you had Tiflo on the pod, you called Norby one of my tugboats, and that is 1,000% accurate. If I didn't acquire Norby from Joey, he would be on waivers 3 weeks ago. I just can't give Joe the satisfaction of dropping him. So we'll see how much longer I hold on to that.
Yeah, but yeah, I love the Ben Rice trade. I mean, I think yeah, Otani's talented, but we'll see what Kevin Alcantara can do. Rhett Lauder, I know had a tough week against us, but yeah, Ben Rice, I think is a really talented hitter, and Luis Garcia already reached waivers, and now he's on Al's team. So
And
I'd,
then he had 12 on Al's team yesterday.
he's had I think 27 points the last 3 games. So
Oh my
whatever, I
God.
don't know. Al's got that voodoo magic. Um, but yeah, I think with the recent Al trade that you had, like I think what you kind of texted me privately is that like it is so it's pretty even right now. Like Durbin has been garbage this year. Like he's had stretches where he's fine and serviceable and playable, but not, super valuable. Snelling just got hurt. Riley's been hot lately, but he's had stretches of a lot of Ks and not ideal. And Zaire Hope has been good. He's hit home runs. Torres, I think, is hurt right now, but yeah, curious on
Yeah,
that trade specifically.
I just need, well, I told you about that one too, and I don't know how much we're supposed to talk about what we almost offered and didn't offer, but I almost got what's his name? Augustine Ramirez in this, and I told you that. And then I said I want Hope instead. Because I could kind of see that potentially Augustine Ramirez could flame out and the Marlins could give up on him. And now that they have Joe Mack, I kind of feel good about that. But I think Glaber has overperformed for what I paid for him. I think Hope has been exactly what I need from him. But yeah, Painter. I mean, after Painter's start, man, we had those frat boys out there in their coveralls doing the fake paintbrush. It was just, I saved that as a meme. I'm ready to send it. Andrew Painter, he had 36 total points on the season. I remember it like after his first four starts. And now, Keith, he has 6 total points on the season. So we just need the paint man to turn it around a little
Sherwin Williams, the paint man. Yeah, he's
bit.
yeah, it's been a tough go, and he's also young. That's the thing I think a lot of us, I mean, even when talking about Jordan Walker with Joey or with Tyler, just the fact that yeah, guys right now, they might have a terrible freshman year, but sophomore, junior, third, fourth year in the league, like they might turn it on. So
If you owned Painter, and I know you wouldn't, but if you owned Painter, would you want the Phils to send him down to tell him to figure it out for a little bit, or would you want him to try to figure out in the bigs?
if I had a choice, yeah, I would at least right now, I'd hope that he would figure it out more in AAA because he didn't play a ton in AAA last year, and he wasn't that great, as I noted, like 5 ERA in AAA. Like I'd rather him be like a Snelling where he's got like a 1.5 ERA in AAA. Like that would be ideal. But the thing is, the Phillies have nobody else. Like I think DFA'd Taiwan Walker. They don't really
Mm-hmm.
have another top prospect in their system to bring up, and they're clearly not going to spend any money. So it's kind of like he's just got to take his lumps this year, which, yeah, sucks for your team, unfortunately. But
Yeah, I mean, he's still in my minors. I mean, we'll
right,
see. I don't know how close he is to the threshold, but I just would love for him to finish the year with hopefully like 4.2 ERA and averaging like 8 or 9 points a game. That would be a win for me.
Yeah, that would be nice because that's something to at least build on for next year. Like, all
Yeah.
right, maybe he has a spot in the rotation. He's not going to get sent down. We'll just have to see. This is something I did want to bring up about maybe not your trades, but I guess something as we transition to our minors conversation. We had on the pod something like, when do you call up guys from the minors? Painter's a good example of a guy like, all right, he's almost at the threshold. When do we bring him up? I guess kind of curious on your thoughts on like when is the right time, and have you gotten burned by bringing up a guy too early?
Yeah, I got burned by you and Joey pressuring me to call up Dalton Rushing in the group chat. And, and then I called him up and I think his average went from like 400 to like 310. And I mean, he's up and yeah, he'll score points every once in a while, but the Dodgers just can't fit him into the lineup. I almost called up Painter a few times, like when he was pitching on Sunday, and my matchup was close, and I was like, "Oh, I kind of want to bring him up," but it's just the imagine the feeling if you call him up and he sucks, how deflating that would be. So, like, that's just what holds me back from doing it. I do think calling up someone like Carson Benj, I think I probably should call him up soon
Mm,
because he's close to the threshold, and I don't think he's going to get demoted. And if he does get demoted, I can then put him back down because of the new rule.
right.
Um, but like, I mean, I'd love to start Carson Benj over the Law Dog, Lawrence Butler. Don't really like seeing him in my lineup.
That's
Um,
fair.
so like there's some, I think when guys get within when they get close to the threshold, I start to feel better about it. But to start the year, there was guys like Rhett Lauder was still under the threshold, but I decided to start the year. I'm like, Rhett Lauder, you're going to be part of my rotation. So I just called him up like immediately to start the year. Did you have any guys with eligibility at the start of the year that you said from the jump, I'm going to be using you?
Good question. I mean, Sam Antonacci was the first guy that came to mind. I think it was just a matter of, is he going to get in the major league lineup and is he going to stay? And I think once he started like getting on base and getting all these things, I'm like, all right, we're gonna bring him up. The Sung Moon Songs of the world though, that's more not ideal because we brought him up his major league debut, he got 8 and I was like, all right, he's a guy. And then lately he hasn't been getting starts, and so that's wasting a roster spot for us, which is fine. We can afford it, but I would much rather have that flexibility now and not have to drop him because he was our like third round or second round, no, third round pick in the first year player draft. So that's a guy that comes
Yeah,
to
I think on the whole, like I feel like we're scared to call up minors guys,
Mhm.
unless we're really sure about them. Um, I don't know because it just feels like if you call him up, like he better be good or else it was the wrong choice.
Yeah. Now here's something I thought of. This is why I want to bring up the minors conversation is this would be impossible. I don't even know if Fantrax could even do it. But what I thought of was the idea of an option system within our league. Like if we have a minors guy, maybe we get like one option where if we bring him up and he's bad, we can put him back down or something. Or where maybe we have to drop him, but if he clears waivers, so to speak, like in the real world, nobody wants him, we can add him back to the minors. What do you think
I
about
I brought this up Nick Beach when we were driving to Coachella because I picked Brandon Sproat back up because I couldn't and I was like Nick, Brandon Sproat has cleared waivers, cannot put him in my minors, and Nick's like, no, I'm not letting you do that. No, we're not doing that. And now Sproat's been pretty good, but I do think if you drop someone and they clear waivers, I think you should be able to pick them back up and put them in minors.
That's not a bad idea. I kind of like that. Like maybe at least like a week period or something like that.
Yeah. Um, but I mean, I wonder if I don't know. It's a strategy. I feel like if you're a team that well, I mean, if you're a team that's not competing, you have no incentive to call up the minors guys, right?
Right.
I mean, so I guess it would only be for competing teams who you think the guy's going to be good. So it's kind of like only 1/3 of scenarios that you would call the guy up.
Right. Yeah, or if he's just like absolutely going ballistic and it just makes
Yeah.
no sense to have him not be in there. But
Hmm.
yeah, it can hurt you, it can harm you. It's one of those things. And I know rushing is like over the threshold now, but I know like Carter Jensen for Mark's team, I was, giving him shit for that, but now he's kind of cooled off. So it's just the nature of the biz in fantasy. But
Yeah, I mean it's such a fun like thing to have. Like when we started this, I did not know how much of it would be related to minors, and I love that. I feel like it's like at least a third to a fourth of like the calculation is what's happening down on the farm, and I think it's so hard to explain that to other people who don't understand what we're doing.
yeah, yeah, like I don't know, like it's really difficult for me to play a redraft league now. Like the
Totally.
idea of not having minors, I'm like, but the minors are so much fun. Like watching
Yeah.
like random guys, in the minors, like, Devin Fitzgerald, a guy that has been going off, like switch hitter. It makes things a lot more deep and interesting because then you're looking at guys who maybe aren't even on the top 100 list, but they're getting the call up and you're looking at positional stuff like, all right, like there's room for him at third base because the Nats have a terrible third baseman or whatever it is. Like it just makes everything.
Do you watch Double A and Triple A games?
I don't watch them live. I only watched a couple when I had when I had Giolito pitching like in a
Okay,
rehab
of
game,
course.
but I've viewed a couple Charlotte Knights games when like Antonacci was down there because like I have him, I have Bergoya, like they're a good team. Like it's good baseball.
I love watching like the replays of the homers and like the camera work. They're like, first of all, oh,
It's
there's
so bad. Yeah, like who was it the other day? It was someone's home run and their camera was just like the wobbliest thing from home plate. I'm like, how is that possible? Just zoom in. Like this shouldn't be that difficult. But hey, not everyone is photojournalists like you and I.
still can't really track a baseball. I've tried to track a baseball a few times. I could track a football pretty well on the field.
Right. Yeah, baseball is hard to shoot, I will say that.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, moving on here to another fun segment, the fantasy doghouse. So a little bit about this. This is guys that are in the doghouse, in the pound, guys that we want to drop that, God, I hate rostering this guy. He's on drop watch. I guess I'll start with you. Any guys on your fantasy doghouse?
Yeah, I mean, I'll throw him out again. Lawrence Butler. Anybody. I mean, man, there was no better feeling than when I picked up Butler and he was like averaging 2.6, and then he got like a 7 year contract extension. It was freaking awesome. And now he just goes up there and he just strikes out. So he's on drop watch for sure. Norby, if I can get over the enjoyment that Biederman would get out of it, he's on drop watch. I mean, Kodai Senga, you? Are you going to come back and are they going to let you pitch? What's going to happen there? Uh, I can say it now because he dropped him, but Mark was trying to do Jack Flaherty for Kodai Senga. He dropped Flaherty. I thought about it. I mean, because I was like, look, am I going to start either of these guys?
No shot.
And then Devin Williams was in a long stretch of timeout, and he recently came out of it for the matchup against Team Nick. And he's been nice. He's been nice with it the last like week and a half. But yeah, Devin Williams was hashtag most hated for start of the year.
Yeah, that was tough one. Yeah, what do they call him? High Lev Dev. Although now, yeah, not necessarily high Lev for him.
Yeah, he's got those tight pants working. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Who
I
you
mean,
got in your doghouse, Keith?
in my doghouse, I mean, man, it's our pitchers right now. Like it's the combination of Noah Cameron and Aaron Nola are in the doghouse. I'd say Grant Holmes is kind of barking at the door right now. He wants to get in the doghouse, but he's had positive starts. He hasn't been negative, which I think is important. But
I
yeah,
think when I
Nola.
played you, I think Grant Holmes had a big old negative when we played.
Let's see. He had a negative
Oh
one.
no. Okay. Well, then I must have been thinking of someone else then.
Yeah, no, I mean shit. Like Cameron and
Nola, that's
yeah, both those guys. I mean, back to back negative sevens from Nola. He's been fine lately, but I don't know. It's hard to roster both of them. I mean, Nola's just had such a good track record. It's hard to drop him. Same,
Yeah, I
with
mean
Kieran.
he's undroppable. I mean, I would give you something for Nola, of course. Like I think anybody in our league would give you something for Nola.
Yeah.
Um, but you got any batters in the doghouse right now?
Any batters in the doghouse? I mean, I guess it's Sung Moon Song would be in there. I mean, Willie Adames has been in the doghouse since the year started, but he's getting a little bit hot. I don't know if I could ever drop Willie Adames or trade him away. He's just too young and he's been good in the past, but yeah, right now he's playing like shit.
Seeing
Um,
a average per game below one is a rare sight.
yeah, it's difficult. It's hard. I don't want to do it, but we've been burned in the past. That's one thing I think we try to work on this year is being a little bit more disciplined on not dropping guys before we should. Because we know baseball is really a game of cycles. It's a game of streaks. Like the guy could be cold forever. Same thing with like, Rafi Devers, like for Tifo.
Hmm.
Like Devers lately, he's been hitting. So it's just a matter of time.
Dude, I just gotta just bow down to you for Drake Baldwin. Just one of the
Oh,
dankest players to own. I mean, wow.
I love that guy. I mean, someone posted a stat about it that, which I thought was pretty crazy, and also it's what I think of every time I watch him. That with runners on base, he's like a contact guy. Like he doesn't hit for power. His strikeout rate is low, and with the when he has like no runners on base, he's like a huge power guy. And it showed today, like another solo home run. Like all he hits are solo shots. Whereas when guys are on base, he goes for the contact, which is a great thing because he'll, actually get in RBIs and slug for power when there's nobody on base. So
Yeah, there's something about like a guy hits a solo homer and your team, and you're like, oh man, I just really wish there was someone on base. Like it's only a 1 point difference, but you just like you see solo home run, you're like, really? No one could get on base? Like,
well, that's the thing. I mean, he is like he's been the leadoff hitter or like, one or two like in the lineup. So
I
he's
think your
about
batters look pretty good, Keith. I mean,
that's
you
been our
don't,
strength.
yeah.
That's been our strength for ages now. And that's the issue is like our hitters are great, but our pitchers are just not ideal. And we have seven of them in the IR slot, which also, I mean, I don't know if you saw Rhett Lauder just got moved to the IL.
Yeah, they they had a they said that that was going to happen on Sunday, and so I was just waiting for it to happen. But yeah, I had been lucky up until this week with the injury bug, and it's kind of catching up to me. So maybe I would have wished I would have hit the like on some of those messages instead of hitting the dislike on the adding another spot because I did not need it at the time.
That is tough. That is tough. All right, you're on the East Coast. So, there might be some East Coast bias that comes with being out there in Louisville. So, yeah, curious how being on the East Coast affects you because I mean, we got Joey in the Central Time Zone. I believe Nate also lives in DC, if I'm not mistaken. It's a little bit different out here because we got to wake up hella early if you want to make like a morning claim or something. So, how nice is it to actually be able to wait, have your cup of coffee and make a claim at 10 o'clock?
Well, usually I make claims at night and I get to work at 9:30 and I'm just at my desk at work and I'm just waiting until 11 to see what comes through. If we didn't have constant waivers, if we had free agency, then I could really abuse it because then when people don't get picked up at 8 a.m. y'all's time, then I could scoop someone up. But I mean, the main thing with the East Coast time zone is just that most days games don't start till 6:40, which is just super
Mm,
tough. The thing that I do like about it though is that I rarely go to sleep before baseball is over. I don't know if I said that right, but like I could be out at the bars and it's like 11:45 and they'll be, like A's Angels like in the sixth inning. And I'm like, let me tap into this,
mm.
even after midnight sometimes. So I do like the fact that like once the games start, they are on until I go to bed. I feel like West Coast time, like maybe around like 11 o'clock, all the games are over, right?
Right.
So
especially now.
that's yeah, so that's kind of the nice thing. I think I heard you talking with Joe about it that it used to be that if you had a guy start on Tuesday, you can pretty much bank that that guy was going to pitch on Sunday. But that doesn't happen anymore. Really, the only two start Johns are Mondays.
That's true. That's true. I mean, even that was something I was looking at with Zane's matchup, and I can't remember who it was, but someone got pushed to Monday off their Sunday start, which helps us because that was something I was worried about. But yeah, it's always a weird thing. That's one thing that I get annoyed about when it comes to fantasy is trying to like kind of scheme to see who's going to start or not, and then you get like to the day, and they're like, oh, we're going to push him back a day, or
Last week, I did a master class on it last week, but I didn't even play the guy. I picked up Leahy, who
mm,
pitched against the Padres on Sunday. I picked him up on Friday because I was like looking ahead, looking ahead. There's no good starters. I'm like, Leahy, that could work. But I was beating Nick, and so I'm like, I'm not going to risk this. But he got 14. So yeah, I would have liked that feather in my cap of those 14 points, but I didn't put him in there. Um, Back to the East Coast bias, though, I do feel myself kind of changing into one of those people that's like, damn, like you guys have baseball games that start at 9:45 a.m. That's crazy. I could never have that. Like that
it's
does seem crazy to me now to have a game start at 10 or 9:45.
to be honest, I love it. Like whenever I'm just kind of like working from home on a Wednesday, and there's like morning baseball, it's the best thing ever. Just wake
Yeah.
up and immediately I'm like, all right, MLB TV, let's fire it up.
Yeah, for me it's that's lunch break.
Mm.
Earliest I ever get is lunch break.
The one thing that sucked about living in Hawaii was that that's how it was. It was like really in the morning. Like you'll miss first pitch of a Pods game, and it's like 10 a.m. You're like, what the hell did I miss? I missed almost the whole game.
That's insane.
I think I've told the story before, but just to tell it again, had a it was funny. Nick actually visited me in Hawaii, and we were hanging out, and it was like on the weekend in the fall, and it's I think 3 hours behind in the fall there. And I was worried. I'm like, there's a question, like Calvin Ridley was questionable. And it was like, oh, do I start him? Like, because I'm not going to be able to wake up at like 6 a.m. before the 10 a.m. games. And he's like, nah, just put him in the lineup. Like, if he goes off, he goes off. And I wake up and he's done for the season with his gambling, gambling, uh, suspension. And I'm like, God damn it. And I started him that week. And if I hadn't started him, I would have won. So.
Oh man, that's
That's
brutal.
that's the ultimate yeah, West Coast bias is like I would rather be on the East Coast where I can set my lineup.
Yeah.
I don't know. Either way, as we wrap things up here, final kind of note is the best and worst announcers from baseball. I know you and I watch a lot of baseball, but we watch a lot of MLB TV. Maybe you listen in on the radio, like on the app if you're driving. I don't know if you ever do that. I know Connor tells me whenever he's going out to stories, he'll throw on the app just to listen in.
Yeah.
Curious on the
I
best and worst.
think listening on radio, if you're listening to a pitcher and if your pitcher serves up a dingus, it hurts a lot less on radio. I think if you're watching that ball leave the yard on TV on your phone, it really hurts. I think it hurts a little bit less on radio. So I love to listen to radio. Um, I think and it goes with, who do you have? Usually pitchers more so than batters. When I was playing Tyler Molly, I know I never say his name right. Malley,
I think it's Mally.
Malley. When I was starting him on the Giants, I love the Giants radio guy. He goes like,
Mm.
"And now Devers for the Giants. There's a 2-1 Giants." That guy is really good. Hate, the Yankees radio. They have the three piece, and one of them's the woman. And
Yeah.
I'm not trying, I ain't trying, but she sucks. She's like she tries to make it sound like she grew up like watching each of the players, and she sounds like she's like eating sunflower seeds. She's like, Chisholm, he likes that pitch, Jazz. He likes that pitch, and I cannot listen to Yankees radio, and I used to like Jesse Agler, and then Nick pointed out to me, he's like, Travis, Jesse Agler sucks. And then I started to listen to it more, and yeah, Jesse Agler, he just points out the obvious, and he just tries to like make it sound good. Like he's like, and now this is happening, and of course we know this is gonna happen next. And it's like, and then Tony Gwynn Jr. will be like, that's right, Jesse.
Yeah, he always calls it. He says, yeah, he says, "Oh, yo, girl, Jesse Agler." That's what Nick always says to me. I think back in the day, I was a Jesse Agler apologist, but now that I listen to him and have been in the biz, I'm like, Jesse's just annoying. Like he's not horrible. He's not like, it's not like it's hard listening to him. He's just kind of a nerd and like and not in a good way. Like he makes these
Yeah,
cheesy jokes and I don't know.
it's like his mom is watching every game. Like it's like he's like a little kid wearing a backpack.
Yeah, it's like yippee, like I got to do this, like
Yeah,
he
yeah,
won a prize to be like the Padres
yeah.
announcer for the day or something.
All right,
Jeez. Louise.
who are your enjoyed and unenjoyed TV or radio?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Who are your enjoyed ones though? I don't know if you told me who you, oh, you guess you like the Giants.
I
Uh
like the Giants radio, and I like. Do the Mariners radio? Do they still have the Aussie?
I think they do.
The Aussie, he's great. He's like, oh
Yeah,
yeah,
Peter Moylan.
and Kirby's out there. Kirby's really throwing a great game out there tonight. Just hopefully Crawford in it, can knock one in for him, and we can get the lead back here in the eighth. That guy's great.
So funny. I'd say I know you wrote this on yours, but the A's TV. I mean, just what's her name? Sorry, Jenny Cavnar. Got to be the worst of all time. Like, I think there are good female play-by-plays, but she is not one of them. Every time I listen to her call a game, she just doesn't have a signature call. Like, never have I once heard her call a home run where I'm like, wow, that was enjoyable to listen to.
Yeah, and it's like the guy who's on the broadcast with her.
Dallas Braden.
It's like he's like he knows what could be said that could be a good thing to say, but he's just not saying it, like because he's letting her drive the ship.
Yep. It's frustrating, which is why they don't have her full time. They have one of the Carey sons or whatever does it. Jack Carey, I can't remember who it is.
And did you put Ray's TV on your enjoyed?
I did not. I did not. My enjoyed is pods, obviously.
That's
Uh
the best, yeah.
the Reds, the Phillies, the Jays, and I'd say the Mets are up there. I know they're always like highly voted, but I mainly whenever I'm listening to MLB TV or even Big Inning and they highlight the different boxes, like every time I hear those games, it sounds good. Like the Reds guy is always solid. Phillies broadcast is hilarious with Kruk just being a buffoon.
Yeah, Kruk is funny. The Reds guy gets really into it.
Oh yeah.
He seems like he's like solo dolo. Like I couldn't tell you who the other Reds person is. But yeah, every time you get like an Ellie De La Cruz like triple, or you get Spencer Steer, your mama, or something. I mean, he's. But what's his signature call? Is it like high drive or swinging a drive or something? I don't
Yeah, yeah,
know.
yeah. Something like that. Also, to interrupt
Yeah.
our little our pod, a little update. Little Gavin Sheets, holy Sheets, 3-run home run.
Oh, baby.
That's right.
I
So
didn't want to interrupt earlier, but Luke Rayleigh, who I picked up today for Geloff, hit dinger for me.
I know. I saw Christian Walker with another home run. So we're tapped in even when we're tapped in. Looking
But
at.
yeah, I would say I'm a huge fan of radio. I think
Hmm.
when I listen to baseball on the radio, I love to do it like I don't have a lawn right now, but like when I did have a lawn, would love to like listen to baseball, mow the yard. Love to do it when I'm driving. Yeah, it makes you feel like an OG. It makes you feel like an unk, to listen to baseball on the radio.
That's true. Yeah, it's a throwback to your dad's generation.
Hmm.
The obviously the A's, I do not like Jenny Cavnar, but the other ones I don't like. I mean, I think it goes without saying, listening to the Dodgers is hard to listen to. But
Yeah.
the uh the Astros, I hate the guy's voice on the Astros. I don't know what it is. I think his name is like Victor Rojas or something like that. Yeah, I don't know what it is about his voice. I just hate the sound of his voice. Like whenever he calls a game, it's really annoying. I can't listen to Astros games on TV.
I'll have to listen for it. I cannot pull that one off the top of my head right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Any of
But
our league mates out there, if you're listening, drop it in the chat. Give us your unenjoyed and enjoyed.
yeah, I am curious. But yeah, anyway, the Jays, Dan Schulman, I also like. I think
Oh,
that's a solid broadcast too.
he's good. He still is he's been the same one for like 10 years because the Jays TV is one that Nick and I and Noah and Zane that we would always make jokes about. Jose Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion.
That sounds kind of like there's a guy on the Rays that kind of I think it's the Rays radio guy or maybe TV guy. One of those. That
I
guy
think
sounds like a
the
thousand years
Ray,
old.
yeah, because I definitely made a similar impression earlier in this
Yeah,
episode.
yeah, yeah. Either way. Yeah, those are the best and the worst. I'm trying to see, do we have any other segments? I think we're all segmented out. But yeah, curious on your overall thoughts on the league and any future dealings potentially. Anything you want to say to the folks out there? Maybe you want to ship Lawrence Butler, maybe a little BOGO with Connor Norby.
Well, Tommy Carey's been hitting my line about Max Fried for about a year. Um, and I mean, I thought Max Fried was just such a star that I was going to hold on to him, but he has been faltering a bit the last few weeks. Um, I mean, I will just be honest, like if the wins keep coming, I'm probably not going to be doing many trades, but I have a feeling that my 3 game winning luck streak probably going to run out here pretty soon. But man, it's been fun while it lasted to go from 1-3 to 4-3. Uh, we will have to see how sustainable the success is.
There you go. There you go. All right, folks, that has been T Breeze Belly on the pod. Appreciate you coming out here today, Travis.
Thank you, Keith. Had a great time.
Of course, of course. All right, folks, that's been this edition of the Dynasty Baseball podcast. Yeah, thanks for watching. We'll have a new power rankings and waiver claims, all the good stuff coming up this Sunday. But for now, we'll see you later.